Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. We are reading from Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter number 10, the opulence of the Absolute. And text number 4 and 5 together. In this chapter, Krishna wants to prove Arjuna that Bijoham Sarva Bhutana, I am the seed of every living entity, but not only the living entity, whatever is constituted in them is also because of me. Just to create one being, but you can see the being is inside so much complicated. So many situations are there. Even a little cosmic atom and the cosmos, even though they are identical in creation, but detailing, it all goes to Lord Krishna's super intelligence. So, when these things are manifested, still people cannot acknowledge the supremacy of Lord Krishna. And as an interlude to this question of how do you recognize the Supreme Personality of Godhead? How do you? Haridas Thakur responses to this particular question. He is illiterate, but he is knowledgeable about the absolute truth. Therefore, upon request of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he answers such complicated things, but in a very simple term that can be easily understood by devotees. Those who are devotees at heart, and they can't challenge. Absolute truth has been precisely spoken in Vedic literature, but yet those who are not devotees, they are not going to accept as it is. Because complicacies are there. The world is not that little lump of dirt that can be analyzed, but it is variegatedness, full of variegatedness. And variegatedness creates complicacies. Because in variegatedness, you still want to utilize your minute independence to choose which one will be most beneficial to you or applicable to you. That choice is there, but more the varieties, more the confusion. Now, so intrinsically, when you see the complicacy in the cosmic manifestations, the scientists are baffled because they go with a little parameter to understand the Supreme's creation. But they are being baffled. Similarly, intrinsically, an individual is also surrounded by so many complicacies within himself, both physically, mentally, and subtly, spiritual or egoistically. All right? So many complications. And he chooses. It means he is individual, independent, minded. But misuse of minute independence is what is the real problem. So, in this chapter, Krishna induces Arjuna to ask about how to recognize him in the material manifestations. So, first he is talking that he is the seed of everything. And in these two slokas, Krishna is explaining the subtleties in us that is also created by him. Buddhir jnanam sammoha kshama satyam damah shamah sukham dukham bhavo abhavo bhayam cha bhayam evacha ahinsam samata तुष्टिस तपोदानम यशो अयशः भवन्ति भावा भूतानां मत्ता एवे पृथक विदा. Intelligence, knowledge, freedom from doubt and delusion, forgiveness, truthfulness, control of the senses, control of the mind, happiness and distress, birth, death, fear, fearlessness, non-violence, equanimity, satisfaction, austerity, charity, fame, and infamy, all these various qualities of living beings are created by me alone. When we confront ourselves with all this, because what we can't hide them. We have to express by thinking, willing, and what is that? Thinking, willing, and acting. Or in other words, manasa, vacha, karma, by mind, then words and actions. Why actions speak louder than the words? Because the action is sum total of the words and mind. What is the thinking pattern? So, the different qualities of living entities, be they good or bad, are all created by Krishna, and they are described here. Intelligence refers to the power to analyze things in their proper perspective, and knowledge refers to understanding that is spirit and what is matter. Ordinary knowledge obtained by a university education pertains only to matter, and it is not accepted here as knowledge. Take for granted those who are in school, high school, or universities, or those who have gone through them. That's not knowledge. Knowledge means knowing the distinction between spirit and matter. In modern education, there is no knowledge about spirit. They are simply taking care of the material elements and the bodily needs. Therefore, academic knowledge is not complete. Asammoha means freedom from doubt and delusion can be achieved when one is not hesitant and when he understands the transcendental philosophy. Then only moha or delusion can go, not otherwise. However you try, unless you get transcendental knowledge, your bewilderment is not go. So, Sai, you are requested to chant. Otherwise, your bewilderment will not go. You will be captivated by the glamour of material nature. But it is called becoming foolish. Good. Slowly but surely, he becomes free from bewilderment. Nothing should be accepted blindly. Everything should be accepted with care and caution. Kshama or tolerance is the forgiveness. should be practiced. One should be tolerant and excuse the minor offenses of others. Good. Satyam means truthfulness, means that facts should be presented as they are for the benefit of others. Facts should not be misinterpreted. According to the social convention, it is said that one can speak the truth only when it is palatable to others. But that is not truthfulness. Prabhupada said, we are not of social convention. We call spade a spade because it will benefit. Right? The truth should be spoken in a straightforward way so that others will understand actually what the facts are. If a man is a thief and if people are warned that he is a thief, that is truth. Although sometimes the truth is unpalatable, one should not refrain from speaking it. Truthfulness demands that the fact be presented as they are for the benefit of others. That is definition of truth. Control of senses means the senses should not be used for unnecessary personal enjoyment. There is no prohibition against meeting the proper needs of the senses, but unnecessary sense enjoyment is detrimental for spiritual advancement. Therefore, the senses should be restrained from unnecessary use. Similarly, one should restrain the mind from unnecessary thoughts. That is called sama. One should not spend one's time pondering over earning money. That is a misuse of thinking power. What a blow. The mind should be used to understand the prime necessity of human being, and that should be presented authoritatively. The power of thought should be developed in association with persons who are authorities in scriptures, saintly persons and spiritual masters, and those who think is highly developed. Sukham or pleasure or happiness should always be in that which is favorable for cultivation of spiritual knowledge, of Krishna consciousness. And similarly, that which is painful or which causes distress is that which is unfavorable for cultivation of Krishna consciousness. Pleasure is every attempt to cultivate Krishna consciousness. That is called pleasure. And the one that is unfavorable in cultivating, that is actually the pain. It's not the bodily pleasure and pain. Real pain is ignorance of Krishna consciousness. This is elaborate purport, so better listen. Prabhupada speaks anything favorable for development of Krishna consciousness should be accepted, and anything unfavorable should be rejected. Bhava means birth. Should be understood to refer to the body. As far as soul is concerned, there is neither birth nor death. That we have discussed in the beginning of Bhagavad Gita. Birth and death apply to one's embodiment in the material world. If for the soul there is no birth and death, then why are we subjected to birth and death at every moment? Every moment our body changes. And as a wholesale change, you find it every 7 years. Medically, it is proven that every 7 years, all your body cells are changing. But that means the previous one must have been dead. Our body at the moment is comprising of some several trillion cells. Can you imagine a holocaust of several trillion people in 7 years? Entities in 7 years? Holocaust. They are going to die by Krishna's will. Our body is comprising of 7 trillion living entities. Our bodies. And we think, this is me, my body. But it is subjugated. And as I said yesterday, are we confined into a cell? If we had been confined into one cell, then scientists would have found out. There was no difficulty. So, fear is due to worrying about the future. A person in Krishna consciousness has no fear because by his activities he is sure to go back to the spiritual sky, back home, back to Godhead. Therefore his future is very bright. Others, however, do not know what their future holds because karma is going to interject and give a different trajectory or what we call destiny. Destiny is always created by karma, and that is not the destiny of the soul. Krishna is showing that you are my part and parcel, so you have an obligation to come back to me. That is the only trajectory. How long you are going to commit mistakes and foolishness and enviousness and so forth and so on. Others, however, do not know what their future holds and they have no knowledge of what the next life holds. So they are therefore in constant anxiety. If we want to get free from anxiety, then the best course is to understand Krishna and be situated always in Krishna consciousness. In that way, we will be free from all fear. In Srimad Bhagavatam 11th canto, 2nd chapter, 37th verse, it is stated, Bhayam dvitiya biniveshatah syat. Fear is caused by our absorption in the illusory energy. But those who are free from the illusory energy, those who are confident that they are not the material body, that they are spirits, parts and parcel of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and who are therefore engaged in the transcendental service of the Supreme Godhead, have nothing to fear. Their future is very bright. This fear is condition of persons who are not in Krishna consciousness. Abhayam, fearlessness, is possible only for one in Krishna consciousness. You want to become strong man? Why? Because remaining weakling will be cause of fear. But if you are strong in Krishna consciousness, what kind of fear would have? Can you imagine the frail body of Srila Prabhupada at the age of 70, and it lived only for 11 years, but he was fearless. At the same time, he was full of spiritual potencies and nothing to fear. Therefore, he had resolve on the words of his spiritual master. He can do miracles. Didn't he do miracles? And he's keep on doing for next 10,000 years. He's going to. Ahimsa, non-violence, means that one should not do anything which will put others into misery or confusion. Material activities that are promised by so many politicians, sociologists, philanthropists, etc., do not produce very good results because the politicians and philanthropists have no transcendental vision. They do not know what is actually beneficial for human society. Ahimsa means that people should be trained in such a way that the full utilization of human body can be achieved. The human body is meant for spiritual realization. So any movement or any commission which do not further the end commit violence on the human body means humanity is being disrespected. When the governments, are coming, they promise so much, but why do they fail to keep up their promise? Because they are not Krishna conscious. Simple. They are not Krishna conscious. While such problems will never occur when there is a Krishna conscious ruler, Ambarish Maharaj. Therefore, such examples are very vital to understand the dilemma that we are facing in this today's world. We are not interested in any government, but we want to be ruled by Krishna consciousness. But we can achieve both. We can achieve both. There are only limited rules and regulations in the case of a good citizen that they have to abide with. It's easy. But at the same time, rules and regulations to develop Krishna consciousness must be adopted. They are more important. So a devotee will never violate the local laws, and he will be free to execute devotional service. So, violence means what? This is the broader understanding. It's not simply beating somebody up or killing somebody up, it's called violence. Verbal violence is there. Not performing service for the benefit of lokasangra, or what we call educating the people. That is a violence. To keep deliberately them in ignorance is violence. Dhruta Prabhu gave beautiful description when the topic of creationist theory was being taught in the school, and he wrote this. Exactly what Srila Prabhupada is telling. Okay, what do you mean by it? We are non-violent. And if I'm going to teach you with a sort of what you call a discipline, that is not violence. It will free you. So, all the kids are told to get up at 3 o'clock early in the morning. Oh my God, these kids, small kids. People are saying, so Hare Krishna is violent. No. Why it is called violent? Is it harming him or training him? Okay, kids, don't get up at 3 o'clock. Get up at 5 o'clock at least and start chanting it. Anyway. Samatha, equanimity, refers to the freedom of from attachment and aversion. To be very much attracted to be or very much detached is not best. Detached means neglect. Too much neglect and too much attached. Both are bad. To be very much attached or to be very much detached is not the best. This material world should be accepted without attachment or aversion. That which is favorable for prosecuting Krishna consciousness should be accepted. That which is unfavorable should be rejected. This is called samatha or equanimity. A person in Krishna consciousness has nothing to reject and nothing to accept, save in the terms of its usefulness in prosecution of Krishna consciousness. Tushti, satisfaction, means that one should not be eager to gather more and more material goods by unnecessary activity. One should be satisfied with whatever is obtained by the grace of the Supreme Lord. That is called satisfaction. Tapas means austerity or penance. Therefore, many rules and regulations in the Vedas which apply here, like rising early in the morning. But whatever voluntary troubles one may suffer in this way is called penance. Take little inconveniences to secure your Krishna consciousness. Similarly, there are prescriptions for fasting on certain days of the month. One may not be inclined to practice such fasting, but because of his determination to make advancement in science of Krishna consciousness, he should accept such bodily troubles when they are recommended. Oh, I don't believe, so I don't have to fast. It shows nothing but avariciousness, completely antagonistic nature, which will not benefit him at all. It will be harmful. But if voluntarily one takes this, then that is called ahimsa, that is called even samatha, that is called what is that? Okay, so this kind of austerity or penance are recommended. However, one should not fast unnecessarily against the Vedic injunction. Hiranyakashipu was fasting against the Vedic injunctions, right? Not that kind of fast. People want to, yes, there is a fad which was going on, and one of our acquaintances also get into this. Our very good God brother, Swarup Damodar Maharaj, was also very much aware of this situation. There was one gentleman coming from Hyderabad, from Haridwar. He was a Gujarati, Shanti Swarup was his name. Shanti Swarup was fond of fasting. For him, fasting was no problem. And he would go without, like a boat without rudder. He will go without and try to intermingle with everybody. Somehow he came in my contact, he came in contact with Swarup Damodar Maharaj and this. Then he was constantly talking about this fasting for 41 days. You know, if you fast for 41 days in the Haridwar and at the bank of Ganges, you will go to Supreme Abode. Just, it's a kind of meditation, but it is very, very detrimental. nobody can survive. All right? So he had a very keen desire. Even though he is in association with the devotees, he was a freeloader. He never took up chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. We used to chastise in friendly way, but he would just let it pass through. He would go to United Nations and, arrange a kind of what we call interfaith conferences between different organizations. He was fond of this kind of impersonal aspect, not personality aspect. But nonetheless, he was befriended. He loves prasadam anyway, because that was his sustenance. So Swarup Damodar Maharaj one time told him, "Don't you ever fast." He said, the Shastra says that if you fast for 41 days, the bodily energy becomes so much intensified that you will be able to go to the Supreme Brahman. All right? That is the spiritual energy. And no wonder. There was one Mataji, she is also another personality, and she happened to be Gujarati again. Her name was Vibha Chakravarti, and she was linking her family tradition from her husband's side, because Gujarati doesn't have surnames Chakravarti. She married to a Bengali, all right? Then, but Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur was one of the predecessors in the lineage, all right? And her husband was also very much fond of Srimad Bhagavatam recitation, 10th canto, and becoming a bhavuk, sentimental. And she also got acquainted while we were in New Vrindavan, And, but these two people had a nice ghosty. Of course, nothing illicit about them. But they were so much determined within their own. One was a sentimental and other was impersonalist. And a kind of hatha yogi. Hatha means become obstinately stuck to their own ideology. Right? Now this austerity, nonetheless, he had very wishful thinking that he wants to do. Then about a few years back, Vibha met me in Vrindavan, and she says, "Maharaj, do you know Shanti Swarup passed away?" I said, "Yes." I knew, because he was adamant to do that fasting. But because, he is a pious soul, he may have to come back to become a devotee and take full Krishna consciousness. Can't equate whatever it is. Yes, that we understand now. But it's too late. We don't have to become that kind of extremely austere to harm ourselves. What is the real austerity? That is described. The one that is favorable to cultivate Krishna consciousness is true austere. So recommendations may be there, but not extreme recommendation. In this Kali Yuga, you can't take up extreme, either on that side. Extreme negation or extremely imitation. Both are bad. So, one should not fast for some political purpose that is described in Bhagavad Gita as fasting in ignorance. Many politicians go on fasting. And Prabhupada hits hard. And anything done in ignorance or passion does not lead to spiritual advancement. Anything done in that mode of goodness does advance one. However, and the fasting done in terms of Vedic injunction enriches one in spiritual knowledge. But this politician, even Gandhi, fasted. Vinoba Bhave fasted. All the impersonalists go on alternate. They are all politicians. An impersonalist, therefore, is not a devotee. And they have to take many human births in knowledge and come in association with a pure devotee. And then he accepts chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra, thinking, Vasudevam Sarvamiti. Then he becomes Mahatma. Otherwise, what is opposite of Mahatma? Don't speak. Call spade a spade. Yeah. But they get hurt. As far as charity is concerned, one should give 50% of his earnings. Listen, everybody, those who are earning. As far as charity is concerned, one should give 50% of his earnings to some good cause. And what is the good cause? It is that which is conducted in terms of Krishna consciousness. That is not only a good cause, but the best cause. Because Krishna is good, his cause is also good. Thus, charity should be given to a person who is engaged in Krishna consciousness. According to the Vedic literature, it is enjoined that charity should be given to the Brahmanas. This practice is still followed, although not very nicely in the terms of Vedic injunction. But still the injunction is that the charity should be given to the Brahmanas. Why? Because they are engaged in higher cultivation of spiritual knowledge. A Brahman is supposed to devote his whole life to understand Brahman. Brahmajanati iti Brahmana. One who knows the Brahman is called Brahman. Thus, charity is offered to the Brahmanas because they are always engaged in higher spiritual service and have no time to earn their livelihood. In the Vedic literatures, charity is also to be awarded to one in the renounced order of life, the sannyasi. The sannyasi begs from door to door, not for money, for the missionary purposes. Not for the money, but for the missionary purposes. The system is that they go from door to awaken the householders from the slumber of ignorance, because the householders are engaged in family affairs and have forgotten the actual purpose of life, awakening their Krishna consciousness. It is the business of the sannyasis to go as beggars to the householders and not to simply visit or take prasadam, and encourage them to be Krishna conscious. It is said in the Vedas, one should awake and achieve what is due to him in this human form of life. This knowledge and method is distributed by the sannyasis. Hence, charity is to be given to the renouncer of the life, to the brahmanas, and similar good causes, not to say any whimsical cause. Yasha means fame, should be according to Lord Chaitanya, who said that a man is famous when he is known as a great devotee. That is real fame. If one has become a great man in Krishna consciousness and is known, then he is truly famous. One who does not have such fame is infamous. All these qualities are manifested throughout the universe in human society and in the society of demigods. There are many forms of humanity on the planet, and these qualities are there. Now for one who wants to advance in Krishna consciousness, Krishna creates all these qualities. But the person develops from himself within. One who is engaged in devotional service of the Lord, of the Supreme Lord, develops all these good qualities as arranged by the Supreme Lord. Of whatever we find, good or bad, the origin is Krishna. Nothing can manifest itself in the material world which is not in Krishna. That is the knowledge. Although we know that these things are differently situated, we should realize that everything flows from Krishna. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmilitan Yena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manovishtam Sthapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupakadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Jata Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanutam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Nama om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desatarini Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktavranda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. What an elaborate purpose. Prabhupada explained each and every term so precisely. And because it comes from Krishna, it has to be understood that what is good and what is bad, both are coming. But at the same time, how do you term bad which is coming? Can you, anybody summarize in a few sentences? Bad is also coming from Krishna. How would you summarize? Bad means one which is not conducive or favorable to conduct the good. That is called bad. Bad means not that I don't like is bad. Bad means one that is not conducive to conduct Krishna consciousness is bad. Absence of Krishna consciousness is always unfavorable, and it is due to ignorance. And Krishna created ignorance and put all the living entities into the mire of ignorance. Right? About his own reality, and that is unfavorable in Krishna consciousness. When he says he is part and parcel, then don't we have a favorable mood to understand how am I his part and parcel, or why he is our Supreme Father and why we should go back? If we think in this direction, then it is called favorable. But because of the ignorance which is imposing in all living entities who have entered into the material world, which is full of ignorance, it was dark. Material world was created in darkness. When Brahma wakes up, it is nothing but darkness. So, spiritual world is self-effulgent. If one that is not self-effulgent, then it is called dark. But Krishna is manifesting. Surya, Chandra, sun and moon to dissipate the darkness of sense perception or darkness of ignorance. Living entities are, having sense perception. So, the senses have the consciousness being supplied to them. Unless and until the consciousness is running in the senses, they cannot perceive. So knowledge acquiring senses is coming from the consciousness, which is the transcendental symptom of life. But when we do not utilize that consciousness in favor of Krishna consciousness, then it is going to be bad. Bad means not beneficial. So one has to understand in human form of life that do not utilize your senses for the sake of sense gratification. In Bhagavatam it is very, very emphatically so, that as long as you live, the purpose of sense perception is not for sense gratification. And that means the karma. It is said that kamasya nendriya pritirlabho jivet yavata. As long as you exist, live. Kama means desires. The purpose of desires is not for sense gratification. Indriya priti labha. Indriya means senses. Priti means love of the senses or attachment of the senses to the objects of sense gratification. So, in other terms, the senses should never be utilized in sense gratification. Rather, these knowledge acquiring senses are meant for jivasya tattva jigyasa na arthaya karma bhihi. Jivasya tattva jigyasa. Tattva jigyasa means what? Inquisitiveness about the absolute truth about us, our reality. As long as you live, use your senses to know your reality. And for that, you should do the karma. There is no other means to perform activities. In other words, the energy of our activity is coming from Brahman. Where is the energy coming? Annad bhavanti bhutani parjanyad anna sambhava yagyad bhavati parjanya yagya karma samudbhava karma brahmodbhavam vidhi brahmaksharam samudbhavam tasmat sarvagatam brahma nitya yagya pratishtitam. This is the cycle. The food grains where we derive energy, we think, oh, I have my own energy. But you forget, it is coming through parjanya. And where the parjanya can happen? When yajna is performed. Yajna is a desirable activity to keep the balance without exploiting material nature or abusing it by pollution and so forth and so on. Man has abused earthly resources, abused water, everything, even air is polluted. So how can he live? It was not bad. No, it is bad. It is extremely bad, but people are using for their sense gratification. America is the topmost sense gratifier state, and after creating enough havoc, it passes on to other countries, and they want to escape from responsibility. But all other nations are after America and will crack it down. They are the most abuser of the resources. So, kamasya nendriya pratilabho, na indriya pratilabho. Kama means desires. But this desire should be dovetailed in Krishna consciousness and use that sense perception in Krishna consciousness to realize yourself. That means the function of the senses is knowledge acquiring senses, not knowledge of sense gratification. That is not knowledge. Therefore, jnana has been defined by Srila Prabhupada, not material education. They teach you only sense gratification. So, now as far as charity, have you understood what Prabhupada said 50% has to be given? Do you know what? Do you agree? No. Say no, I don't agree. But if you understand, then will you agree? Okay, listen carefully. Whether you are a working class or industrialist or whatever you are, you have earnings, right? These earnings have to be taken out on the net situation. Understand, Ishavashyamidam sarvam. Everything belongs to Krishna. So all that you have belongs to Krishna, but you are having a quota. All right? Quota. Now, you are borrowing all these energies from Lord Shri Krishna. Karma brahmodbhavam vidhi and brahmaksharam samudbhavam. Tasmat, therefore, sarvagatam brahma nitya yagya pratishthitam. Yagya means sacrifice. Perform yagya and sacrifice. But still, how would you start this? Because up till now, we do not do that 50-50 business. So anybody, they can start even today. How 50-50? Okay. You have certain, say, 10 as total value system, all right? With the investment or cash flow or whatever it is. You know, in accounting, liability and everything is to be measured. So, what you have to do, offer the total. Say, start with 50-50 business. My dear Lord, I know everything belongs to you, but I am here with all this Maya besides me. So, okay, I will make you 50% partner just to start with. Okay? Just to start with, make him 50% partner. Prakash, Prabhu. Listen, I'm giving you some Prakash. 50% partner. All right? 50% belongs to Lord Krishna, 50% belongs to you. And you have the family and responsibility. And that responsibility you're going to take care on behalf of Krishna. Therefore, you say, okay, I'm your 50% partner. That's legitimate. On behalf of you, Lord, somehow or another, I have got the human form of life exactly in what you call image of you. I'm not you, but you are me. That's correct. Because I'm your part and parcel. So Krishna can claim you, I cannot claim you. Is it understood? Okay. Don't fight in the house when Krishna is on my side and Krishna does not belong to anybody, okay? We have to belong him. So 50-50 partnership, okay. At the end of the year, you see what is the net profitability. All right? And again, make an account that 50% belongs to him, 50% belongs to you. Okay? Because you are doing service on his behalf. So naturally, profitability should be divided into 50-50 net. Again, divide that into 50-50 of 50-50. Means 25%, 2 portions to Lord Krishna, 25%, 2 portions to you. You give 25% to your wife to run the household. You keep 50%. Okay? Why? Because there will be emergency, because we have to leave, so calculated risk is there. So 25% of yours and 25% for your wife to run the whole home ministry, whatever it is. Now, 2 portions of 25-25 each on Krishna's side. Keep 25% of Krishna, but use 25% to worship him. Or use it going to pilgrimage to get Krishna consciousness. It's not a bad deal. Is it not? Okay, but you have to be calculated. Then you have still 25% of yours and Krishna has his 25. You mix it and reinvest in business or working. And engage that and make more productivity. Don't you will become richer by investing Krishna's 25% because he's your partner. And 50-50 is going to be continued. Right? And tell your children also that if you are going to go away, the asset will go to them. But this is the condition. Only and unless you come to be Krishna conscious, then it is worth to give you. Otherwise, forget it. If they agree to carry your tradition, that's how the lineage has value. And 50-50 business will continue. That's what it's meant by. Rupa Goswami suggested, therefore Srila Prabhupada wrote, and that's why we are explaining. It's not a big deal. Oh, 50%, oh, 50%. Actually, it is 25%. If you have to remain religious to utilize 25% in the service of the Lord. Lord is not miser, we are misers. He has given everything. So this is the calculation. So in the same way, all these qualities that have been described, they are automatically generated in the embodiment of a devotee. Automatically. So one who is just a beginner, they will be benefited in the same way by becoming a devotee. Yasyasti bhaktir bhagavati akinchana sarva gunai tatra samasate suraha harava abhaktasya kuto mahadguna manorathena asati dhavato bahi. Bhakta and abhakta has only these two differences. A bhakta imbibes all the good qualities of all the demigods in his embodiment. While those who are not devotees, what good qualities do they have? What good qualities they have? Nothing. Manor rathena asati dhavato bahi. He is simply running madly in the ignorance, and which is eccentric, not concentric. We have to keep Krishna in center of our life. Means within the house, here you can see, everywhere is Krishna. Why? It's not fun. People say, where is that family photo? They don't have a family. Oh my God, these people are completely out of the society. Do people say that? Yeah, we are in the society. But the devotee gets so much benefit, because they are Krishna conscious. They are the real having inheritance of Krishna consciousness to perpetuate. Don't think, they are not misers to think these earnings they have to keep perpetuate. No, it has limits. This is the Vedic culture that has to be perpetuated. So, this is an important lesson. Any question? Narad Muni gives so much buffer to protect the devotee, even though in immature state, if he falls down. Narad Muni is talking very heavily. Those who consider a devotee has failed, is a disgrace, this, that, shut up. Yes. Narad Muni is arguing like, firecracker. What does he say? Tyaktva swadharmam charanambujam harer bhajanna apakva patitato yadi kova bhadra abhut amushyakim kova artha apto abhajatam swadharmata. One who is, worshipping the Supreme by devotional service, even in his immaturity, if he falls down from the path of devotion, what is inauspicious for him? Whatever he has gained is a permanent asset. So, he will survive. Never pity on him or never criticize him either. Just support him if you can. Encourage. Give him shelter. On the other behalf, one who is expert in all the activities, but he is a bhajatam, if he is not a devotee, then Kovartha. What is his purpose? Huh? He comes and goes for nothing. He cannot continue the journey further that he has been given opportunity. Huh? If one remains stagnant, can't move, then what is his progress? Even though he has attained so much wealth by hook or crook, Krishna is very crooked for those who are crooks. And Krishna is a lifter or deliverer of the sinners, however they have committed sinful activity. But if they are Krishna conscious, Krishna says, nothing to worry. Api chet suduracharo bhajate mam ananyabhak sadureva hi samantavya samyak vyavasato hi saha. Because he is rightly situated in his Krishna conscious constitutional position, then however abominable activities he might have performed, but because he is continuing his Krishna consciousness, rest assured, Kshipram bhavati dharmatma. Soon he will become righteous again. Swasachan nikachati. He will achieve his big glories first, again. Kaunte pratijanihi name bhakta pranashyati. What a big declaration. Pratijanihi means declare. Hey Arjun, declare to the whole world that name bhakta pranashyati. So bhakti is very rare. Consider you are a fortunate child of your parents, okay? You are very fortunate to develop Krishna consciousness. Don't try to compare with other guys who might brainwash you. No, be away. They are unfortunate people. But when you get enough, Krishna consciousness, then you can start giving to your friends and deliver them. But do not be destroyed by them before you can deliver them. All right? Good. Remain intelligent. So, any other question, comment?